Chafing Armor Podcast, Episode 72. None shall escape. None. Welcome back to the Chafing Armor Podcast. I'm your host and spooky Dungeon Master Michael Corley, and here with me shortly before the All Hallows Eve is Dare. Dare, tell everyone who you'll be playing.
Greetings, y'all. I am Dare, and I am playing Tix Birchmanson, your fearless, mighty, short gnome cleric.
All of that and more. When we last left our adventurers, we had a crazy scenario where our good friend and stalwart companion Osokai, who never ever has any conflict with Tix, nearly died from a crazy fall and through a just tremendously series of bad rolls and then a tremendous series of crazy actions on everyone's part, including Tix. He was managed to be saved. But in that process, he was completely unconscious. We covered in the last episodes how he was brought out of the canyon and was being carried forward along with Tix. Now, what happened was Penton and Morezi were on the outside watching everything while you and were watching over the unconscious Osokai. So what I'd like you to do is to start off, give me a healing or medicine check.
A medicine check. All right. Since he is unconscious, I won't mess with him too much. Check him over fairly gently, making sure that no bones are broken. And that is a meager
14. So not a complete failure in this case, but you have run across this before, is that technically when you heal someone for 6 points of damage, if they've taken 6 points of damage, they are now healed and everything's fine. But what you have found in your many years of being a cleric is that people who have suffered traumatic injury, such as he has, is even healing them all the way, they sometimes will need extra time to recover. It's not surprising. They have just suffered catastrophic damage. And he is stable now, but he doesn't seem well. They're also, it seems like almost like ash is in his hair. You're not quite sure what's going on with that, but there's nothing to be done about it at the moment. And
Bear Boy needs a bath.
Well, he definitely needs a bath. All of you are filthy and stinking. By the way, just to set the stage, you are inside Audrey 3. Because of his injuries, you are both inside. You are watching over him. And many other people are in here with you. The surviving villagers of... I forget if I actually said the name of the village, but it actually is Palm Grove is the name of the village. Mm-hmm. And you have not found out about this yet, but this village serves a very specific purpose, which we will get to later, that Mobari will tell you about, the leader of this village. You are actually in the hut with many of the more injured villagers who had recovered from being turned into animals, but were still in pretty rough shape after almost falling off a cliff. And that's when you begin to hear a sound. Clop, 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 clop. Off in the distance, you can hear the sounds of who?
I will make sure that he is bound and unconscious, or his wounds are bound. Not going to tie him up necessarily, although that might be fun later and drop eggs on him. And then I will go look out the window. Peek out and see who's...
We have established earlier on that you had knocked out one of the windows, which were filthy, just covered in grime from years of having a hag live in here. That you had knocked out one of those windows, and so you can look through it. And way off in the distance, you can see a rider. You can see a rider on a black horse approaching the Audrey 3 and the people outside who are walking beside, and far off in the distance, Morezi and Pinton.
Well, that is interesting. So he's coming towards us and not towards Morezi and Penton?
They are slightly off to the side. You're not quite sure what they're doing, but they're doing something. They're not just like they haven't just wandered off. But they are. He is not coming towards them. He is coming either towards the people around the hut or coming towards directly at the hut. You can't tell which.
Okay. Well, I will uh, adjust my armor and uh, my axe Destiny Seeker, and I will step out towards the rider and greet him. Hello, rider.
So the hut is walking right
Oh,
now.
it is.
Are you gonna? Yeah, y'all are walking towards Palm Grove right now.
Okay. Then I will stand in the doorway and hold on and watch him till he draws closer, and then greet him.
Okay. In that case, just give me a straight wisdom check.
Wisdom.
Add your wisdom bonus.
Okay, I can do that one. And that is a unnatural 20.
Okay. So you have watched many people on horseback ride, and there's just a certain gait that they have. You notice a couple of things. One, the rider has something in his right hand. He has what looks like perhaps a piece of coiled white rope, something like that, that he has as he comes closer. But there's his left hand is cradling something, something about what you would think of as maybe close to the size of like a bowling ball or a basketball, a little smaller than a basketball. And then there's the one minor thing as the hooves get closer and closer and closer, and that is you realize that the rider does not have a...
Oh, we're going there this time.
And
Happy
I would
Halloween.
like you... Happy Halloween, everyone. Please roll for initiative.
And that is a natural 20.
Natural 20. So you will act first. You cannot make out a great many details, but you can now make out a head that is cradled in his left hand. His skin is the texture of moldy cheese, and his grin goes from ear to ear. And you get to act first.
And I am going to cast Protection from Evil on myself.
Okay.
+1 armor class, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, +2 to AC and saves, counter mind control, hedge out elements, and art outsiders. So that is my action right then, is to protect myself from evil and boost my armor class up to...
Okay, and you feel that protection from Garl Glittergold fold out in you. By the way, for the purposes of the game, all spells and abilities have been restored and hit points at maximum, etc., etc. You're going to need it, and you do so. And he continues straight towards you, but maybe just a little to the side. He's not. He sees you, or you see the eyes lock onto you and smile. But the other hand, the right hand, uncoils what you previously thought might be rope, and you hear a clattering sound. And as it goes back, you realize that his whip is actually made of a human spine.
Nasty.
And snaps the whip. Now, there's no save versus this because he is not attacking you. He is, and even cool guys like this have to roll. He gets an 18. Not that he needed to roll too high to literally hit the broadside of a barn. He cracks his whip against Audrey 3. And Audrey 3 shudders, but not, you don't see like her wall cave in or something like that. A hole opens up. Just literally a hole opens up in Audrey.
Aww,
now,
poor Audrey.
You're familiar with bags of holding in Dungeons and Dragons, are you not?
Yes, I am.
So Audrey is not a bag of holding. However, the spells used to create her were incorporating several elements of a bag of holding. Do you know that it is bad when a bag of holding is pierced?
Very, very bad. Dimensional rupture and all sorts of nastiness ensues.
Exactly. So as he does so, suddenly you feel a tremendous pull as you are feeling a suction as you are being sucked into this hole that he has created. And you can only have the tiniest glimpse of what you see beyond that. And you are being sucked into this hole. And I need you to make a reflex saving throw.
Oh, my best stat right there. And that is a straight 11.
Straight 11. Unfortunately, you needed a 15 in
Yeah.
order to succeed, and you feel yourself pulled into this hole. Now, it would have been very, very difficult for you to avoid this, as just a gale force suction is happening, and you are just hurtled in. You have the briefest of moment where your vision like doubles for a moment, and you can see the inside of Audrey 3, and you can see the writer in the now expanded, the full area, entering Audrey 3, and you realize, of course, that his quarry was never you. He is here for Osokai. But you can't do anything about that because you got sucked into this hole, and whoop, and then suddenly you find yourself falling. And I would like you to make another reflex saving throw.
We'll try a different die this time. And that is a 17.
17. So as you're falling, something flashes out before you. Would you like to try to grab it?
Yes.
Okay. That is a good answer because you reach out and you feel your left arm just wrenched because is Tix right-handed?
Tix is left-handed.
Left-handed. Okay, so you reached out your right arm because, of course, your left hand had Destiny Seeker in it.
Yes.
And you feel your right arm just wrenched. However, it does stop you from slamming into the ground. Give me a quick fortitude save.
That is a 23.
Nice. So you are able to kind of continue with the swing just enough so that you actually, otherwise you would have pulled your arm out of its socket.
Yeah.
It was such a jarring stop. And of course you're wearing armor and to just everything. But you are able, and there is a moment where you find yourself holding on to an iron bar, what you think might be some kind of lamppost, and you are about just shy of 10 feet off the ground.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, is there anything below me?
Cobblestones.
Cobblestones, and I'm in a city.
You are either in a city or a village, not a small village, definitely, or it wouldn't have cobblestones,
And it
or it wouldn't
have
likely
a
to.
lamppost.
Very unlikely to, yes.
Okay, well, I will wrap my legs around the light post and slide on down.
Okay. And as you make your way down, you realize something that has not happened since you began this adventure. You realize that your backpack is not on your back.
Uh-oh. Now they're messing with trouble.
Give me a quick wisdom roll, just a straight wisdom roll.
And that is another unnatural 20.
Okay. You spot a small figure, larger than you, but smaller than a standard human, darting off into the shadows, and they might have your backpack with them.
I will pursue them with all haste.
Okay. Your quick little legs, you make your way. You turn down the alley, and you see a figure making their way down the alley. The alley has a dead end. You see the figure trying to scramble over the fence at the other end, but it is having some difficulty, probably because of the bundle in its arm. What would you like to do?
I will go and bodily tackle him.
Okay.
Her.
Okay. You tackle. Go ahead and roll to grapple.
That is a beautiful 24.
A beautiful 24. So I want everyone out in Dungeons and Dragons land to imagine a 15-year-old human male, someone who's used to living on the street, lean and wiry, and he's starting to climb up this rickety wooden fence, and just suddenly, hoi! He just this hurtling 3 foot nothing gnome just comes whamming into his leg. You wrap your arms around his midsection, and he whams into the ground, and a certain backpack you know very well goes spilling away from him.
I will roll and scramble for the backpack and slide it onto my shoulders
Okay.
and prepare myself for any attack.
Okay. The boy turns and looks at you, and just at that moment, as these things happen, the clouds part and moonlight falls down, and you see a pale face, far paler than any should be, and you realize you're looking at the face of the rider, and it seems to almost be superimposed over this child, and that grin goes from face to face, ear to ear, and that moldy cheese face just wrinkles into just scabs and mold, and this huge grin comes up, and he says,
"Aren't you forgetting somebody, laddie?"
And you feel that whoom behind you as the portal opens up behind you again. So I have a question for you. Are you going to willingly go in this portal this time? Or are you going to try to stay out?
I am going to say a quick prayer to Garl Glittergold, and I am going to take a step towards the boy.
You take a step towards the boy, and I will need you to make a reflex saving throw to keep from being sucked into the portal.
You know, that's my best.
Indeed, and absolutely.
That went off the table. Let's try again. And that is a straight 15. This
Straight 15. I told you earlier that you needed a 15 to save, so you steady yourself, you grab hold of a nearby crate to keep yourself from being sucked in. What would you like to do? You now can act.
I will steady myself and take a quick scan between the portal and the boy and see if I can see through the portal and see if the boy is being possessed or if this is some extraplanar creature manifesting.
Give me a quick religion check or divinity check, whichever you prefer.
We'll go with knowledge religion since that's my best one.
Hmm.
And that is a 27.
Okay. So this boy is being controlled, but you don't think that... so it is... You think that this is actually a boy, and you think that this entity is controlling his actions, based on what you've seen before with creatures like this. You take a quick glance back, and what you see are a couple of real quick things. You see the pallet that Osokai was laying on. It is now empty. The rider has Osokai strung over his saddle like a sack of meat, and he is pulling out the whip and cracking it, and another portal is opening on the other side of Audrey, and he is starting to ride forward. What would you like to do?
The second portal is opening in through Audrey or next to Audrey, and he's going to ride through it.
It looks like it's opening in the opposite wall of Audrey, so 30 feet away from the other one. It is opening up, and he is just starting to ride towards it and through it. It looks exactly like this one, but in the opposite direction.
Okay. And so this portals are still open. Can I tell if this is the first portal that he opened and I'm going back through?
Based on relative directions and such, you think so, but you're not sure. It certainly didn't open up here. It opened up way up ahead. You don't know if his presence here has caused it to open again here. You don't know. But you think that this is the same direction.
I am going to I'm going to jump through the portal and leave the boy and go after Osakai.
I'm not going to make you roll to do that because it's trying to suck you through. It's whoop, you go right through immediately. You catch just the slightest glimpse of the face of the rider evaporating on the boy, and a look of confusion on the boy's face. In fact, that you actually see the boy turning to vomit from this interaction. As you leap your way through, you see some very confused villagers inside of Audrey 3 of Palm Grove, and the rider is making his way through the second portal. What would you like to do?
I will use my forward momentum and hope that the portal is still trying to suck things through, and I will leap and try and either grab hold of the tail of the horse or of the whip of the rider and pull myself up to him.
Okay. So it would be easier to grab the whip as it's trailing out behind him. He's just cracked it, and now it's come back behind him. So you can try to grab that if you want.
I will grab that.
Okay. That is a straight attack roll. I'll let you use your normal attack to try and do that.
Okay. That is a nice 18.
18. So that succeeds. So you grab hold and you find, as much as you didn't want to, that this whip that he has is actually made of the spine of a human being. It appears to be slightly elongated, perhaps by magic, you would suspect, because obviously a normal spine would not be long enough. And you get pulled forward through this second portal, and you find yourself plunged into a murky darkness with strange lights all around. The rider, the head pivots on the arm, and you see the headless rider turn its own head back to look at you and says,
Well, well, looks like we have a looky loo.
And he attempts to shake you off with that, and the entire horse and him and everything jostles. And I need you to roll for initiative. And I would also like Osokai to roll for initiative.
That is a 17 for Tix.
A 17 for Tix. And that is actually a 19 for the rider. And Osokai, what did you roll?
15.
15. And welcome, by the way, with our special guest arrival of Osokai, has joined the party. And the rider is going to attempt to shake you off his whip by vigorously going, and he's going to try to pull it forward and then yank you off. And that is an attack roll. Unfortunately, even with his prodigious bonuses, he rolled a 12, and that is not going to do it. So he does manage to pull you forward, so you're actually moving past him. And you're holding on to this with your right hand, your shield buckler attached, and your left hand has Destiny Seeker. What would you like to do?
I will, as he yanks me forward, I will use that momentum to swing forward and try and cut off the front leg of the horse.
Ooh, that's hardcore. Go ahead and roll for that.
All right, let's get... Oh, that is a 19. That is 19. A natural 19. And so that is a modified 25.
Mm-hmm.
And so with Destiny Seeker, that is triple damage on a critical hit, plus necrotic. That is 38 points of damage.
Yeah. So the front right leg of the horse just comes straight off. The horse screams, and you all go plummeting forward. And I would like you and Osokai to make a reflex saving throw.
Really? Can't be some other type of saving throw? It's a straight 13.
Straight 13? Unfortunately, that will not do it.
Well, reflex is Osokai's best save.
Mm-hmm.
But Osokai rolled a 9.
A 9? Oh dear. So that will not do it.
His reflex save is a 9, so it's an 18.
Oh, is it 9? So it's an 18. Okay. So Tix, you are actually going to take... I rolled really well. You take 11 points of damage
Okay.
as you go smashing into the ground at full force. As this horse, fortunately, the horse just misses you. If it's any small consolation to you, the creature actually failed his roll as well, and he takes 7 points of damage
Good for
from
him.
his fall. Yes, as he also goes smashing. By the way, the head goes tumbling away from him.
I'm going to play soccer in a moment.
Osokai, you will take half damage, which was 5, so that means you take 3 points of damage.
Oh, we're rounding up. Okay.
Yes, rounding up. And so, Osokai, the last thing you remember fully is your impact with the ground. And do you remember what you said right before falling unconscious again?
So close.
So close. And you thought for a moment that your long journey had come to an end, but no. Unfortunately, the powers that be still have need of you, and you have been in a haze of pain and nightmares and struggle, and you feel tired and stretched and thin, and you would get little flashes of voices and things like that, and the gentle rocking of Audrey 3, and then the sensation of a stranger grabbing you by the waist, throwing you on their horse, and suddenly a sucking sensation as you go through a portal, and then your first real consciousness is the ground hurtling towards you, and as a ranger, you just can't help your training, and you roll, taking minimal damage, and you come up to find yourself in a dark area, but in some kind of city. You're in some kind of city. You have no idea where, but there are cobblestones here. There's you see iron lamps with gas, or I'm sorry, with torches lit. There are old, decrepit buildings off in the distance. That's all you can see in a quick flash. It is now your turn. What would you like to do? Oh, and of course you see ticks smashing to the ground next to this figure.
Okay, so did we cover some of the changes Osugai has been through?
We have not covered those yet. I told them that your hair seemed somehow ashen, but that is all I mentioned as far as that.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, Osukai is now. Previously, Osukai had some thick, dark coating of hair, fur, whatever you want to call it, over his body. He was dark brown, almost black. It's now not. He's salt and pepper at the moment, but it looks like he's going to end up being completely white. From his experience, he's already died once, shall we say, and divine intervention literally brought him back, and now he came really close again. This is for the audience at home. Osukai has snapped. He's not who he used to be. Osukai just wants it all to end. He's done. He's just done. So that said, we've got a mysterious pale rider who is on the floor at the moment.
Yes, he has tumbled to the ground as his horse had his leg chopped off. The horse is now screaming and bleeding, and the rider has tumbled to the ground. It takes you a moment to realize the rider is headless, which for a moment you might think was caused by the fall, but you notice that the rider, without seeming to notice the fact that he doesn't have a head, is picking himself up.
Well, with knowing that Tix must have some reason for this, senseless, in inverted commas, attack on a defenseless horse, Osukai is just gonna attack. There's nothing else for him to do.
Okay.
In his mind.
You had all of your items with you. They were not. That's just that's how adventurers roll. They just always keep things with them at all times.
So nobody took my backpack. That's cool.
No. It's just for the sense of simplicity. It was still with you when you were grabbed.
That's fine. Osukai. Honestly, Osukai wouldn't even use them. Oh wait, no, he can't. Yeah, he's already shifted. All right, so yeah, he's just going to attack. He's going to slam in with his Morning Star.
Okay, go ahead and roll for that attack.
So he would be flat-footed, yes. He can't defend himself.
Yeah,
or...
I will allow that he's picking himself up, and that he would be flat-footed. Yes.
Okay. All right. That's a nat 20.
Okay. Okay. So if you hit a headless horseman who's picking himself up the ground, the head is rolled away. Please describe to me what that attack would look like if it was a natural 20.
Well, I'll just roll the damage. Okay, so that's 14 damage with the Morning Star.
Okay.
But yeah, Osakai would just reel back with the Morning Star. So it would be an underhand, so just kind of come up like a T-ball swing, just thump into his torso, I guess.
Yeah, because you can't really connect with his head.
Exactly.
And it's a solid hit. Whatever this creature is, he does have a physicality to him. Clearly, y'all saw the horse fall. The horse is definitely corporeal, and he appears to be too. You catch him, and he stumbled. And if it wasn't such a serious moment, it would be funny that you hear the head several feet away go when you hit it, and that will actually bring it back to the rider. He pulls out his whip, which you now see, Osakai, is made from the spine of a human that has been unnaturally elongated to allow for whip action.
Lovely.
And shouts at you from the ground nearby and says,
You should not be alive, boyo.
And he cracks his whip at you, and you feel it. This attack is not simply the snap of the whip. He is trying to entangle you in the whip. And he rolls a 9. He has impressive bonuses, but that ain't going to do it. Tell me how you would sidestep someone who was trying to wrap you up in a bone whip.
See, I think Uzuko would just take a little step, like not even a step. He'd just kind of move, tilt, and just kind of watch it go past.
There's a little bullet time where it just
yeah, he bends over backwards at the waist. He's I am the one. Yeah, he just kind of leans to the side as the whip lashes out, whichever side it is on, and in response to his "you should not be alive," we'll just go, "So take me back."
And you can feel the anger staring at you from behind, from the eyes, as he misses, and that will bring it to Tix.
And so Tix will get up. I guess does that take half my movement?
Yes.
Okay, and how far away is the head?
The head is within range of movement, but that would take your entire movement to move towards it. It only rolled about, maybe 10 feet away.
Could I get to it to engage it?
Yeah, you could.
I will get up and hop over to it and swing Destiny Seeker like Babe Ruth swinging for the bleachers.
Doon, 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 doon. Roll for that attack, please.
That's 15.
15?
Yeah.
Total?
Total.
So that normally would not hit. However, he can't really dodge. He is currently ahead that you are attacking. So that will hit. And I want you to roll for damage.
Okay. And that is 8 points of damage.
8 points of damage. And so you see the head completely focused on Osakai as it's guiding and directing this body. And that is when, in the last second, as your swing comes down, the head has an ability to move ever so slightly on its own. It pivots and looks at you, and there's like a huh, and then pop. And I would like you to roll a 1d10 dice, please.
1d10. And that is a 7.
A 7. So he goes flying 7 feet away from you, going a few feet first and then boom, boom, hitting, and you hear like a as he rolls a few more feet. That will actually bring it to you, Osokai.
Has the home run of the head affected the body in any way? Given, you know,
You think that it would, but it doesn't seem to. But obviously, there is something very magical going on here. You do sense like it sort of stiffens when it gets struck, but the actual mobility of the body does not seem to be affected at the moment.
Okay. Ozukai is just going to close distance and grapple.
Okay. Roll to grapple.
Okay, that's a 2.
A 2. Perhaps because it's starting to move wildly after getting its head hit, and you try to grapple it, you find out he's a lot stronger than he looks. He looks just like kind of an average-sized man, but there is magically enhanced strength, and he just breaks out, which is, saying something given what Osokai's strength is. And that will bring it back to him. He reaches out a hand to touch you with the hand that is not holding. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to switch dice because these are being naughty right now because that was a 7. It was a 7. But tell me,
dice
tell
and
me
mine
again.
been talking?
Yes. So tell me again, how do you dodge a man who's just reaching out to touch you?
Again, it would just be a step to the or like a lean to the side. Like there's no, I've given you what Osokai is now.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a reason for it. He's not really trying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's one of those things where it should be a problem, but you just don't care so much that you're even better, and you just whatever, and it just
becomes Saitama.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that little boom, 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 where they're just barely moving, and that will bring it to you, Tix.
All right. Did the head get moved away from the conflict or towards?
Away from the conflict.
Okay. So I'm going to walk the 7 feet over to the head and pick it up by the hair and see about casting Dispel Magic.
Interesting.
Oh, is 17.
17?
For the cast.
It says that there is not a saving throw, but there is a difficulty check. So it's 11 plus... Oh, because it can be opposed. So if it is, it would be 11 plus your caster's level. So 11 plus 6. So the difficulty of resisting it would be 17.
DC 17.
Okay, so I'm going to switch back to the other die. Because that was a 5. And what you sense is actually just a shudder go through the head. And you see this as well, Osokai. The body shudders as well. And the left arm falls off of him. Just boom, just falls off as his body loses some eternal essence that was part of it. He doesn't look real good now, and the head looks more decayed and rotten than ever. You can see bits of bone stretching through where the teeth are, looking like he's perpetually grinning. You have successfully dispelled part of his essence.
Ooh, we may have to do that again. That was fun.
And that will bring it to you, Osokai.
Just gonna hit him again.
Okay.
Can I have your dice, Michael? Can you guess the number? I can. I'm looking at it.
Is it a 1?
It is a 1.
So go ahead and give me a 1 to 100 percentile roll.
Okay. This is where you need to roll around 1 dice. This is where you need to roll
Yes, this is where a 1 is good.
96?
96. Not as bad as it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Not as bad as it could be. So what happens is, as you walk forward, that left arm that fell off, it actually grabs you by the leg. You feel necrotic damage just course through your leg. As you can't see it because, of course, you're wearing pants, but your leg begins to blacken.
I think
And
I'm wearing pants.
we forgot about to tell people that. You actually take 11 points of necrotic damage. It is excruciatingly painful. Think about when you've had an infection like on a hangnail or a fingernail, but going up your entire leg. It is incredibly painful, and your speed is currently halved for the time being. And that will bring it back to him. And he cackles and laughs in your hands, Tix. And the whip comes around, and he says,
That which isn't living must stay dead.
And he rolls a 6.
Did he just quote Lovecraft?
Um,
That which is not dead must eternal lie?
well, he was paraphrasing because I didn't actually know that was a Lovecraft quote. So he does not hit. He tries to. What he's trying to do is again wrap you up in his whip. As he does so, you feel an intense cold coming from the whip. But he misses. He misses you, and that will bring it to Tix. You got ahead. What are you gonna do with it?
I am going to try something more interesting, and I'm going to pray to Garl Glittergold and perform last rites on this creature and turn undead.
Okay.
You want me to do a knowledge or a religion check or a wisdom? Or just
I will allow
spellcast turn.
This is definitely a spell that you're doing, even though it is obviously an exorcism type thing. This is a spell you are doing, so I want you to use your spell ability.
All right, and that is a 21.
21.
So that turns,
if you were to
6 hit dice of undead.
That'll do it. So describe to me, Tix, what it looks like when you exorcise this creature holding its head.
Holding it firmly by the rotting flesh and hair. I lay my other hand with Destiny Seeker upside, continuing to pray to Garl Glittergold for the exorcism of the spirit, and that it would be dispelled, and as the power of Glittergold goes through me, a gold light starts to shine in the creature's head as the flesh melts off, and the body starts to fall apart and crumble to the ground.
And that is exactly what happens. And the whole time he is just... And then it turns into a puddle of goo and falls to the ground. And his body lies in a sack. And the almost on cue, the horse peacefully lays down its head and just turns to ash and blows away.
Well, I will go over and nudge the, desiccated corpse, dust, and see if there's anything there while looking at Osokai and his damaged leg. And you want me to do something about that?
Nope.
Didn't figure.
So you refuse healing, and I don't know if you're trying to pretend that the leg doesn't hurt, but you are 100% limping, though you can try to negate it as much as you can. You kind of poke through the clothing. There's nothing left of his body. It's completely dissolved and blown away. But you do find one item, just one item you think maybe was pinned to his lapel, but you're not sure. It is a bronze 4-leaf clover.
I will pick that up and pocket it.
Okay.
And is the whip still there that we can maybe use it to open a portal back to where we belong?
Unfortunately, the whip has also dissolved as well.
Of course it
And
does.
you are now in a strange city in the middle of the night. And that's when the wind begins to pick up. And you hear a sound that you're very familiar with, by the way, because of Penton's familiar aphil. You hear the sound of a raven cawing, raw, raw, and then another raw, 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 and a murder of ravens comes swirling down, and they coalesce in a pillar of ravens, and then there is a vroom of dark light, and then a woman dressed in a long feather cloak gazes at both of you, and she looks at you with just piercing green eyes, and she says, "Well, this is very inconvenient. Now I'm going to have to ask a service of you." And that's where we'll end Chafing Armor, episode 72. Thank you both for joining me for this Headless Horseman episode.
Happy Halloween.
Happy
Not
Halloween. Happy Halloween, everyone. I hope you get lots of candy and you have lots of fun. And I hope that if you are attacked by a Headless Horseman, that he does not have a whip. That he instead has lots of candy canes.
And that he doesn't want your head.
And that he does not want your head as well. But we are having so much fun. We're getting lots of engagement, of course, on our YouTube channel. There are people subscribing on all the different podcatchers of choice. So if you haven't subscribed to Chafing Armor yet, go ahead and do so. It's a ton of fun, and that way you don't miss an episode in the story. Thank you both for playing.
Thank you for not killing us.
You took care of that yourselves, and we will roll with you soon.